Series continues. Guest starring tonight. Look at this. Guest stars I'm bringing you, darling. Zandra Rhodes here. And we're talking to Charles about some of his clothes.
They're absolutely fantastic.
This has been bought for the Victorian outfit.
And the drawing that this came from too? Because I think that's what's so totally amazing about it, the fact that you've turned the bodice upside down and put the whalebone in. I've never seen anything so fantastic.
Will you do that yourself? If you know how to pull a thing around.
Would you then put it there at the bust line?
I think so.
You think?
So that goes up one side of your face. This, if you didn't have that on, you should.
Then it'd look totally elegant. But
No,
what about the...
It was
and this is so exotic. Hang on, because Couri twisted it earlier on, I think, like, so that it came round and framed the face. Or one could bring it down
Very
under.
you,
Here you are.
Zandra.
Where's the end? Give me the end, that's it.
Better not twist it so that you can keep the...
Keep the effect going straight round the face.
No, keep the thing.
The main thing is that
surprise when
the
it comes around.
whoever's wearing it can do anything they want with it. Isn't that it, Charles?
Yes.
Be creative.
They all
something
do
creative.
something different.
And I think that we did discuss somewhat at an earlier time the fact that this stole was
The basque.
of a dress, of a gown.
Yes.
A ball, oh, that look, this, we were looking at a sketch just now.
Yeah, I think that actually if you've been watching steadily, you'll have seen
by a
it.
horse, which I've checked.
Just as the last thing, Charles, let's just show where it was on the dress. Was it like this?
No,
The
way down.
top part, but that was
There
down
wasn't
like
any
that,
top
wasn't it?
part at
There.
all. Yeah. There wasn't any top. The skirt started here.
Yes.
It's a very plain top.
And this is all whalebone.
Yes.
But it's so thin and light that, I mean, it's just like, it is nothing, isn't it?
Really?
These professionals, they've forgotten how to make it.
What have you come in with? Isn't this the one in the V&A?
Well, Charles, please.
Yes.
Do it up on me. It looks wonderful.
Where's the
in
trapeze?
V&A next to your wonderful jacket.
Have you seen it? Have you gone to the
I've
Victorian
seen
Albert?
it
You've
in
seen
the
the big,
Victorian Albert Museum. That's what.
the space jacket.
That's the one next door to this in the showcase.
The other day there was a whole page in the paper here how that it's all been invented by the sports boys of 2 years ago.
This is a picture of the jacket here.
But I mean, the thing that's so fantastic is the way this all narrows and goes around.
Yes, it's, the shoulder is molded into the ribbons they're taking in.
Okay. It's really, I mean, I still don't. You know, Zandra, of course, obviously, I'm sure everyone knows that you are, of course, one of the great innovative designers currently. And did you just do this, sit down one night and just doodle it out, or did you study the work of other designers ever, or?
I must say I don't really usually study the work of other designers, but the funny thing is about this cape, which is so wonderful to see near, because I was looking at it in the Victorian Albert Museum, and it looks so amazing there, and it looks even more amazing when you see it in reality.
Came to the workroom when I made this.
Really? When you were doing it?
Yes. And we found the ribbons up at the top of my dry goods, the throw-out place.
Were you doing this in Paris?
Yes, but then I copied it in London too.
Do you want to put it on me again?
Yes, Charles.
It was made for Madame Lopez, little shop first. But it was bought by the Syndicat de Prud'homme.
What was Couri doing in the dressing room? Picking up ideas.
He was out of business. He wanted to be among the people who work.
Was he
In Paris, Madame Schiaffredi modeled this for their government. Because Madame Fat didn't turn up to be the model. When you sit down in the theatre, you don't have to sit on the cape.
And it's all ribbons, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was commissioned by the Ribbon Institute or the Ribbon Incorporation?
Was it?
Yes, in Saint Etienne.
Well, actually, it was
Because
really...
you see, all my work began by using millinery fabrics.
Yes, I
piecing
saw
them
something
together.
with the millinery ground
Yes,
that you had
yes.
on the wall in there.
Yes. They
Now-
got a coat in London. They don't know who it was made for, nor do I.
Nowadays, when
But
it's
have
in...
you seen it?
No, they sent me a very bad photograph.
Oh, so that you could see who it was, because probably you might remember then.
I do remember the year.
Yes.
But you know what I think is interesting, if I can just interject, is that this is the day, of course, when all the designers are being taken over by major corporations, and H is bought by this
all
one.
that's
and-
nonsense. They weren't at all. They all competed, and I competed.
Well, exactly. You were one of the first to be commissioned
I went to
by
Paris
the wool
and showed
industry.
to the
and-
trade,
Yes.
including Australia, Sweden, Norway,
Yes.
and I sold for copying purposes what I had first made for private clients. That's the way the French worked. There wouldn't be
Yes.
enough income otherwise.
I know.
But what was interesting was, isn't it true, Charles, that a lot of big companies, the Wool Concern or the Ribbon Institute, would come to, the DuPont fabrics, they'd come to you
They
to
never
design?
shelled out
Yes.
any of the DuPont people except in Europe.
You
Yes.
gave them a lot of
Get in
publicity.
otherwise.
Yes. I know.
I had to supply them free here,
Yes.
which was rather silly.
This is a Grosgrain, yes?
Yeah, it's a particular sort, lined with
It's
double
amazing
face.
feel.
Isn't this the coat I brought from Washington once, Charles?
Yes.
You know, women I found all, or Charles, everyone knew, saved all of Charles's clothes, so that I went to Washington to pick this up from Mrs. Charles, and she had saved it for like 20 or 30 years, and a lot of the women who were approached to give their clothes to the museums,
Yes.
Charles, wouldn't give them up, and just simply wouldn't part with them.
No, they let me have it. And then I documented it.
Have you
Yeah.
documented everything now?
Not everything, but a lot.
We're working on it.
That's good.
That's what
Well, I
they
think
say
it's
in
really,
that.
truly one of the most amazing experiences seeing.
It was on the cover of Harper's, made out of blankets.
Oh, what? It was
Glad
made in a different.
blankets.
You mean in a different fabric
Yes,
from this?
oh yes.
Well, and you did that in London or
Made
in
in
Paris?
organdy too. It was made in New York.
These seams are so amazing, the way they come
They've
down like
nearly
that.
been reversed. And they go up instead of down. Or there's one going
What do you
both
mean?
ways. This would normally be coming down.
Yes.
I had one coming down, but I put the other one going
Yes.
up to create an elbow.
And the way this drapes and's held there.
Yeah. It means you can write that.
Oh, I see.
And there's a pocket. I think
Pockets
there are
feel lovely.
two, yes. Better than
Yes.
this, I'm sorry.
Wasn't this on the cover of Vogue, Charles?
Yes.
Hoppers, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Hoppers.
But it's the way you've joined it all.
And the color of the lining is pretty.
Well, I know that, of course, Zandra went to the Royal Academy of this and that and studied like mad. Did you ever find or read about Charles in the textbooks or go and study his clothes in museums?
I think it's sad that there's not enough, there hasn't been enough research on what Charles did. I didn't study fashion.
They're waiting for me to die.
Oh.
You know that with Balenciaga. So Mrs. Vreeland can pretend she knew and helped when she did it all to destroy. She's one of the parlor maids of the fashion world.
Charles, you'll outlive everybody. Look at, did
But
you
you're
know?
recording it all, aren't you?
What's
Yes,
it?
I have a book to write.
And it's in 36 museums. I mean, it's all very well
Yeah.
documented. Really.
I'm thinking of sending something to Whitechapel. Do you think that would be wrong?
No, that would be lovely.
I think so too.
To the
Do you-
museum there,
Yeah.
that they've just done,
Yeah.
yes, that would be fantastic.
Do you think it's
I
important?
mean, the ones in the V&A look so wonderful.
Zandra, do you think it's important that, obviously you both get letters and students who come and ask to help start learning and create. Do you think it's helpful that the clothes be made available? Not all clothes of different designers to be studied. Is that an important step in being a designer? To study other people that came before
It
you?
depends why you do. If you do them to see how certain things are accomplished, That's fine. If you do it to go home and make a drawing on a pad like it, and make something like it, which won't really
I think
be
the
like
sad
it.
thing today, though, is that a
That's
lot of
wrong.
people are trained so fast, in such a facile manner that they
Yeah.
don't pick up the whole meaning of it, but just a quick superficial
Exactly.
thing.
At the FIT, which gets a lot of money from the State Council of the Arts, they have a course in people tracing, students tracing out of old works what they then make up and call their own. Isn't that extraordinary?
But what was the course like when you studied in Chicago?
I never studied anywhere.
Oh, I see.
I learned from workers. And Couri said that I
It's
was,
just the construction that I find so totally dazzling.
you see,
You know?
began with hats.
You started off in millinery.
Yes, and as Couri said, you could become a dressmaker if you didn't milliner, but it's very difficult the other way. Yes,
Oh,
it's
it's
little,
like that.
you know, little.
Can I make it as a fitter? If I run out of gossip, what do you think?
I think so.
This is something that Charles made in the last 5 years. I'm sure it
Yeah.
came from something, but this is a new model, isn't it, Charles?
Yeah.
Was this done for Mrs. de Cuevas?
Yes.
She was beautiful.
Was part of the old skirt. And I threw it on the stand and needed it. I don't struggle with this. What's the point?
Is that twisted up underneath?
Probably.
But always I thought,
Really
what I
doesn't
think is
matter.
interesting is the juxtaposition of the wool and then the brocade. Charles always, with
There we
fabrics
are.
and colors,
Yes.
it's very...
Right, but of course you know. Which is more than models do, by the way.
But I hope the book isn't just going to show superficial pictures.
No,
It actually
no.
will show the construction, because this is what I'm finding so
And it's
amazing.
got a lot to do with the relation of fashion to sex.
Clothes being able to pinpoint
I mean,
sexuality.
what I find, I didn't study fashion either, so I'm
Good.
lucky because I went into it by accident
And found your way.
and find my way. But there's nothing, because I didn't study the history of fashion and things like that, some of the things I've only found out gradually, and there's not
Yeah.
enough information on you.
There is enough information. A
If
lot of
you
it's been
know where
hidden
If you
look,
knew,
or
yes,
buried.
I've
but
got
I mean,
I've
not
got-
enough credit given, and
No, that's true, but I've got the bibliography, you see.
Well, everybody that's living is busy promoting themselves, and they get all the publicity because they're paying for all the
You know
advertising.
where the
People like Charles, who I think have sort of been the, sort of the conscience of the industry, is hard to idolize, because if
Which
you
doesn't
idolize
matter
Charles,
here.
then what can you think of the rest of them? Does that make sense?
I think it's so funny that the man who helped, of course, dear Mr. Roy Frowick survived his first near bankruptcy. It was a firm I bought from for years. And they lent him 40,000, guaranteed by the lady.
Look at the inside of the
Natural
two
gas, which she made fabricate herself, I think.
Look at the inside too, the black and the pink as well.
She guaranteed it. And they came the other day with an awful book called The Fashion Makers.
Charles, how did you decide to carry on the black and pink theme inside as well as outside?
But
of
I
the
didn't
exhibit?
want the lining to show from the front. But you see, I usually do not put my facings on the edge. I turn them in. And I do it by a factory method, so it is really quite easy. It isn't easy to make a pattern, but once it's made,
the seams are just fantastic.
but they're so really very simple when you look. That's a cape I made out of the remnants of my big capes. And it was made for Madame de San Carlos and Madame Rhodes. And it was lent to Chanel to wear one evening.
Red, oh, that's wonderful there.
And so I sold it to 4 top private clients and ended by going to Lehman Marcus and saying, you have to buy a
Feels
model
incredible.
from me. Just, you've got to
Yes.
buy one from me.
But the
And he said,
balance-
write it out, I'll sign the order. Then he made it in sable.
What happened to the back, Charles?
Well, you could sit down without wrinkling it.
That's incredible. Did you see the back there? It's,
I'll have to undo it to see it, because all
hold
of
your
these are
arms up a
so...
little bit. I don't. This is supposed to be buttoned inside, then.
Yeah, but it has an elastic belt inside.
I'm better at undoing
Don't
buttons
leave it
than
there,
buttoning
it's
them.
okay.
But the sleeves are kind of...
Let's have a look at it. Off.
And you know what's interesting? Everyone's screaming
Put it on
unlined.
Couri.
Everyone's screaming unlined fashion.
Yes,
and
let's
whenever
put it
you
on
look at
Couri.
look at this, look, totally unlined, as was the ribbon cape. A lot of Charles's things are unlined, weren't they, for lightness?
Yes, it was a snobism at the time.
Meaning,
People didn't want lining.
why was
They
that?
made difficult edges. They
So
I
stuff,
think I may have been one of the first to put my seams later than this,
Yes,
back here,
yes.
can you show that
so
on the
that
camera?
you,
How,
it
can you show
didn't
Charles?
make a double edge. No, in this
Yes.
I hadn't got to that point yet.
And Charles, would that go over something like...
And the way this turns back on itself.
Yes, that's right.
And that seam on the outside.
Yeah.
Here.
Yes.
All
That's amazing, a
all
French
my
seam.
top stitching like that is
Yes.
attenuated.
How do you know a
Point,
French
Yes.
seam? I don't understand that. What's a
A
French
French
seam?
seam's when the inside one is, when it's inside. But that's not, no.
No,
Oh, that is, that's a French
isn't really
seam.
a French
No.
seam. It's, I don't
A
know the
curved
word for that,
seam,
but
yes.
forgot.
But I thought at first that that had been cut through, then it was machined, but then there's an even more minute little seam there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And is that because of the shaping? And then you
Yes, so you had about sleeve of the left
and you
seam.
and you know you're using millinery
Yes.
grogram. Is that because you can handle it in a
It
different
was
way and
because it
steam
was
it and
the-
things like that?
Tail end of my big capes.
But I mean, I can't get over that little seam like that in there. And then these darts that come up in here, and this whole bit turns back on itself.
Do they make clothes like this anywhere today?
Well, you
No.
know, this was the father and mother of a vast number of mail order.
Do you think it's totally...
made without the turn back?
Yes.
And they made it in sable. Is it totally impractical, Zandra? You're in the real business. I mean, you sell clothes. Is it totally impractical? Would women not wear something like this because it would be too expensive to make or too impossible
It
to make?
isn't
Or
though. Art
why?
happens
You know,
so
I'm just
quickly.
curious. No, Charles, a lot of people
I
say...
think it take about 2 days to make.
Yes, but a lot of people say Charles' clothes are too constructed, they're unwearable, you know, that they're...
Clothes
it's
take a
impossible. This
long
looks very
time when
wearable
you're
to me.
finding
But
your
when-
way.
When I see them on
When
you,
you
especially,
found your
Charles.
way and have a
Yes.
pattern with notches, any dumb fool can make it.
Yes.
And that's the point. I never passed
The only thing is,
labor
I think
anymore.
you're right on that people could make it and they could cut it out without any mistakes, but you've still got more and more of a problem of that there aren't as many people training to go into the industry.
No, but fortunately, if the head control is right, you can use quite dumb people.
Yes.
Do they need a lot of
You
people
have
in the
to,
industry?
because who else is there?
Yes,
Is
but
it a necessary
But a lot
thing?
of the dumb people now can go into factories and produce things in a different way where they're not even having to learn a skill, but they can probably get more money, like working at a till in a supermarket.
Oh, yes.
And I think that is
I
what's
was
so...
elected to design the supermarket salesman girls' dress.
For where?
Oh, it was in a great big hall in Cleveland, with stalls all the way around. But I never could find anybody to guarantee a 5-year use of my design. But I wasn't going to sell it, that's
But
one.
what I always find...
Yes.
Nor would you. Because where we wouldn't be able to eat. Well,
Yes.
we couldn't do our fantasies if we didn't have something bringing a revenue.
It's
I
the-
know, that's what I'm saying is so sad.
Yes.
And then it's even sadder because that
I want to
you
the
know one
microphone.
doesn't,
put this on you, but
you know, you have to spend time doing things that you don't want to do so much to create masterpieces, and I think
know.
it's sad.
I know. Going out with the wrong people.
But what's
Hang on, don't pull it. It's a.
What's
What?
incredible though is, Charles, that like nowadays you read about this designer and that designer designing TWA costumes, and there Charles is doing supermarket checkout things 20, 30 years ago.
Yes, but I'm bringing out a dress I made in 29.
This
in
is
London.
so fantastic because it's a
But
joy
This
in
is the
event.
famous figure
It will
eight
just
school
pop up.
No, because I'll have to raise my balloon skirt and it will give me hips like an elephant.
Do you think so? No,
Well,
but this
I can
spreads.
try it
This
if you
goes-
like. Okay,
this
hang
goes-
on.
This is the family show.
See, look, I'm not that.
No, but if you weren't, I'd probably have to put something in.
Oh, I see. Because of the shaping, you mean?
Yeah.
This is amazing because this is a different
We've
fabric.
got
And
it
this
on
is.
that front.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, now I'm going to look really funny, won't I?
No.
This is the
Now,
thing.
is this the way? Yes.
Most people, this comes over the front, yes.
Hang on.
But I want to see the...
That's kind of.
Oh, I know.
Anton, get that camera up.
Show my tattoo if I'm not careful. Hang on, do you want me to
Show
hook
your
this?
tattoo. This is America.
I should have brought my glasses.
Hang on. Oh, that's a
There she
oh,
is,
that's
Zandra Rhodes,
wonderful.
model size.
Is that...
And this is all one piece of fabric
Yeah.
swung out with
Yeah.
all of these.
And then you can
Goes
stick your
through
leg
your
in.
leg,
See?
you
See?
see. That would show.
And then,
That's fantastic.
And then the
Look.
back one would show too.
and then look.
No side seams.
I suggest different
No
shoes
seams
with that.
anywhere, you know. I said a balloon skirt wouldn't matter at all because
No,
it
but
was
that
made
has
with-
been hooked inside, you see, so that's why
Yeah. Oh, I see.
that isn't holding like that.
Yeah. And then, but
It's amazing.
do you see the fun of that going down?
Yes,
here?
if-
So
if
that
I had
you can
the-
have
yes.
a blouse that goes way down here and pull it in tucks.
But I mean,
even.
if I was, you know, if I hadn't got all these things on underneath, you could really.
Aren't you making the butterfly
Right.
top to go with this, Charles?
Mm,
Won't the butterfly top go
Yes.
with this that we've shown before?
yeah.
And this is even just as sort of following the same principle as the spiral dress.
This was the first dress sold in a sweater department in cellophane bags with
This
only two sizes in the fitting room.
This is really a famous number, the
Shouldn't
figure
be
eight.
turning
Is
this
this one of
side.
your most famous dresses,
Yes,
Charles, the
but-
figure eight skirt?
Paulson this year declared that it was a secret that he was keeping to the last to show the model, to show the press.
What? Yes.
And he borrowed it
And just remember,
in
you've seen it
his
here
place.
first on the Charles James
And
story.
it was in the
Stay
big
tuned,
show that
36
I let him
parts.
say he produced, but
Yes.
which I
And here's the one that was in the cellophane bags, Charles.
Yeah.
Look at this. I mean, this is actually going to be so incredible.
They're
Wait,
going to
totally unlined again.
Go on. Where do I put it on?
And this is the one that was sold in cellophane bags, only two
Yeah.
sizes, Charles.
yes.
Hang on. Oh, it's done up. Wait a minute. That's why.
Oh, well,
That's why I
That
can't
would
get in
be-
it. Oh.
the hindrance.
Tuck that under so you don't get a muddle on the screen. It really looks good.
Yeah. Never mind, it's nice with the vest here. Like that.
And this pulled round
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah. I had those Bakelite things made too before.
Fantastic.
And I got about 20 variations of this in pants.
And that's all in one piece as well?
Yes. Well, there's one piece at the back too.
Where's your
Just
seam?
this. There's no seam on side or center.
Yes.
You know, you're one about
And
that
this
idea.
side
You could
is
be a
in
great
one.
interviewer. No, I'm getting
Well, I think if this program is about Charles James, I'm supposed to ask intelligent
No,
questions
it is-
so that it can show.
It shouldn't.
Oh, I
really.
see. You've got your centre. You've got the seam underarm seam, and
Just-
then the rest of it goes into
Yeah,
one long
one,
bodice piece.
one big piece.
Mm.
And it was made to sell for, I think, $50 retail.
Trouble is, though, don't you find you couldn't get the fabric sometimes now
No,
to
but
do
they're
this?
going to make it for me again.
Are they really?
What is this?
I think it was Rodgers. It's a lovely jersey.
It's absolutely amazing. You know, I just came here by surprise, being that I'm rushing off home again, and this has been like one of the big treats of my trip, so I'm going to disappear.
You know, I may send 80 dresses to London. Now,
If you
they
want
can't
anything
accommodate-
taken back any time, I can always
You come
take
often?
something about 8 or 9 times a year,
You
so
do.
I can come in and out. I'll have a quick
Now,
look at
look,
this, then
that's
I've
a
got to
copy.
go.
No,
This
I
is
know.
a copy I found on 9th Avenue of mine, which Dearberger from Goodman sold as an edition of a man who I used to work with, a selling model, you know, who wrote very flattering.
And this is
Is this the
bone.
original, Charles? Is
Yeah, and this is
the original.
one
Just
of
want
the
to show this
original.
last red and white thing, dude.
But you see, mine had no seams. It was one seam all the way around. One piece.
Yes.
This is an effect I've seen around recently too.
But you see, being diagonal, when you walk, this straightens out and becomes much
Yes.
longer.
Wonderful.
I made a form for this, with a fishtail
Yes.
back, very pointed in front.
Yes. And then you moulded it over there.
Yes.
So you always drew the forms first and then
Yes.
draped over the top?
Yes. No, one form would serve for many
Would you,
things.
do you always drape in toile first, or do you drape
No,
in,
not
you drape
always.
in the actual fabric then, or you do that
Yes,
second?
but I really don't drape. Most of it's prepared on the table first.
Yes,
And then it's put on the stand, or person.
yes.
And
Amazing.
when I make a stand, I always emphasize points in a particular client. So it
Yes.
isn't like her.
Zandra's plane is getting ready to go back to London. She can't hear anymore unless she tunes
But
in,
there's
which she
another
does
day.
when she's in New York. And there's another day. And please stay tuned because there'll be more of this
It's
story.
been a great
But thank
honor,
you.
you know.
And my
it's
honour
Thank
to
you.
come,
been a
thank
great
you.
pleasure. Because you're one of the people whom I happen to know has said very nice things about.
Well, I wish you could
And
come
I
and see
don't
some of the
meet many.
things I do.
You know, here I might as well be dead.
And you're both, English because Charles is half English.
Well, half, that's much more glamorous.
Are you happy?
You're pretty
Oh,
glad.
No, I'm English.
Yeah. My
Okay.
family originally came
Yes.
from Cornwall, so I'm Celtic. Really.
Yes.
Well, I'm American, Zandra, and I want to thank you for stopping by to Chelsea and talking to us.
Thank you very much for asking
And,
me.
of course, it's about time you do a show in New York. You haven't done one for about 3 years. And after that big smash you had in London, you really ought to bring that production over so we can all see it too.
Have you seen?
And someday, I promise,
Mr.
there'll be the
Hodgson
Zandra Rhodes
anymore?
Hour. Thank you for joining us. My name is Couri Hay. Good night.
Have you seen Hodgson?